Welcome back to another. So my bad. That one was kind of aggressive. I kind of felt my eyes coming out my face when I did that. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Video Breakdowns. Today we are going to be breaking down Nathaniel Drew, and shout out to Clement for asking me to do this. I appreciate all you guys who asked me to cover these creators. Make sure you guys watch the video first, Nathaniel's video first. I'm going to link all his stuff down below. Then come back here. We do this breakdown. And if you guys enjoy his stuff, make sure to subscribe. I believe that Nathaniel has an editing or like a crew. I think he has an editor, and from the videos I see, it feels like someone's actually shooting with him. So I'm just gonna say like the ND crew when we're actually talking about certain shots. I'm not gonna say it's him doing the shots or the editing and stuff like that, but just the ND team. You know what I mean? Because it feels like a whole team is working on these productions. So there are certain aspects that I found within his videos, specifically this one, that I want you guys to remember. Think of chasing the light and movement. The subtle movement and sometimes the more not so subtle movement. And as we go through it, you will totally understand. So let's do this.
It's awfully easy to make life quite complicated.
Oh,
But it does.
right away. We got some like, what is that? Like light leaks. Boom. And right into like this movement of, look how crazy that is. Okay, like for the first, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6 frames, it's of like trees that aren't even in focus, but adding that motion with this flash, good transition, solid.
But it doesn't have
See all those movements right there, it was like fast and it almost looked tight. So there's like a lot of these jitters, and then right into
to
this.
be that way. So I thought I'd make this to share a few thoughts on how to simplify.
There's a nice
your
balance.
life. I wanted to give credit.
Sound effects.
One thing we are encouraged to do.
This shot right here is when I started to think, ooh, this lighting is great. Why? It's hitting just a certain part of his face, right? Like, you could tell that the sun is beaming, right? Especially with everything in here. And then the shadows are like super harsh. So it's like literally right here. And it's a little lower, sunset. It's like these perfect beams of light that he finds and he sits down and it just lights him perfectly. Just like a perfect amount of shadows and the contrast between the shadows and the light.
Your ideas than to write out your ideas. You do not have to be able to draw well. This is an art that you're making.
Yeah, the shots here are great. A lot of the depth of field in his shot is very tight, especially for a lot of the B-roll.
Than to write out your ideas. You do
It gives it that dreamy feel.
give me so much more room to explore an idea before it has to be perfect and presented. Messiness is welcome in a way that can be hard with writing. So I'd say the next
Crazy concept. Messiness is welcome in a way that can be hard with writing. And drawing, he's talking about drawing versus journaling. And with drawing, it's almost free, right? And I feel like the shots, especially some of the shots in here, are very much like that. We're so conditioned to like use a tripod, get the best focus, do all this stuff. But these last two shots right here is handheld, it's tight, and the focus is almost like, you know, whatever we catch, we catch.
room to explore an idea before
Boom.
it has to be perfect and
Right?
presented.
And this
Messiness
one
is
too.
welcome in a way that can be
The focus is like going in and out, and he's just shooting
hard
the
with
legs.
writing. It has always helped me with my personality type, wanting to do it all.
So, if you guys notice, the lighting here looks different from the first talking head shot. And the reason is because the sun is in the back. Look how different it looks.
And there's other phases where I'm focusing more on family and relationships, or I'm more focusing on myself and personal time.
I think the cool thing about him is that he has so much footage, like even just documentation of his life from either past videos or just him going through life. He has his footage. It looks like a completely different place. The seasons are completely different. So when you guys are creating like your videos, and if this is kind of the style that you want, I think it's important to just document as much as possible, because you never know a video down the road, whatever you may create down the road, that you could kind of go back and use that footage. If you guys do want to get into this style of video creation, make sure you guys document everything, and it doesn't need to be perfect all the time. Just hit record and roll with it.
Okay, this is gonna sound really silly, but it's a giant help for somebody like me.
So the lighting here looks really different, right? I feel like the sun it's probably, afternoonish going into night or just before noon. And the light on his face is a little cooler as opposed to it being, hotter and a little bit more yellow with the earlier shots.
Helps me figure out, okay, what do I need to do and in what order? Before going any further,
When I ran through this first time, it was like moments like that I realized I was like, there's something a little different about the way that these feel. Like this shot,
figure out,
a lot of
okay,
people would
what do I
probably
need to
cut right here, right? What is it about the camera person and the editor saying like, okay, I'm going to keep recording. Like I'm just rolling with it. And then the editor saying, yeah, let's use that. Add this light leak with that sound effects of it almost sounds like a page turning and it just works, right?
do and in what order? Before going any
That little. So this shot is exactly like how the first talking head is lit. The sun is a little bit lower. The only issue is when you shoot like this, sometimes the sun goes down so fast and you only got a couple seconds and it's gone after that.
the amount of time that I work out, not complicating it at all. It can
Great shot. Actually, a lot of his other videos, not this one in particular, have this where the background is in focus and you can see him in the foreground out of focus. I love this style because it shows more of the environment and then you get the idea, obviously, that he's there,
feel wrong to not do things the
See the lighting here? It's gone. It's moved.
but oftentimes you just have to give that
Boom. Background in focus.
I feel good about that. I feel good about being consistent over having to do this big complicated thing. When it comes to finances, I
That
find
subtle movement. I think the title cards that he has in here is great. I don't know who had that creative idea. If it was him, the shooter, or maybe even the editor was like, yo,
when it comes to
like
finances, when it comes to finances, but there's a bigger thing that matters a lot more, and it's my general well-being. My ability to just
See all
be
these
at
shots?
peace,
Ooh,
enjoying
handheld
life.
shots.
Letting little things chip away at that is. Look, I try to be proactive in my life, just like the next guy. But
This shot is really green though, right? This one looks a little out of place. And I don't know what it is. There's like no sun. It doesn't have that same warmth to it, you know what I mean?
I always find a way to procrastinate and can turn a little thing into a source of stress or even panic.
That shot was, I don't know if it was planned, but it was great. He walks out of frame, still out of frame, but you see him frame perfectly in the mirror.
And
Look
can
at
turn
this.
a little thing into a source of stress or even panic.
Look at that.
Doing something or exposing myself to something that brings back the perspective. And most often, that's
See, moment right there. Oh, see this subtle movement. This one is a great shot too because it's from so far. The camera person is probably up deep in the forest and just shooting down. And then there's that moment of like jitteriness that I love.
that brings back the perspective. And most often, that's
You know what I mean?
being in the presence of something beautiful.
So I was completely wrong. There's a lot of actual background focus, foreground out of focus shots. All right. I hope you guys learned something from that. And if you guys did, please like and subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.